Get ready. Get set. It's time for the basement view. Hey, good evening. How's it going? Man, glad to be back. Boy, I tell you what, it's done cooled off again here where I'm at, and I'd much rather that warm air come back. It's Monday, 3/17, getting on through March. Man, hey, if you can, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, ring that little bell thing if you can see it. And, hey, let's kick that algorithm in. Like I was just saying, though, I really do wish that warm air would come back. Hey, Charles, what's happening? How you today, my brother? I've been sitting up here, going back and forth as I need to. And while, those couple of days we got that was warm, it was windy as hell, just like today. And that's March, typically. March is the windy month. Hey, James, what's happening? And they even refer to them as the March winds, So, but that warm wind that was going the other day, I'll take that. Can't wait till the warm weather get going too. Yeah, I know that's right, man. I know that's right. And look here. We gonna get some fishing in this year. You understand me, brother? We gonna get some fishing in this year. Man, I got a slightly used fishing license that didn't get much use at all. Hey, Lisa, what's happening? Hey, I really do appreciate the jams and preserves y'all sent me. I tell you what, I broke out that orange marmalade. Tell you what, that stuff warmed up on a hot toast and hot crunchy peanut butter. Man, oh my goodness. Boy, talk about being one with your fat. Anyway, that was giving me flashbacks. Yeah, Charles, I'll let you know, man, for sure. For sure. But man, I'm sitting there thinking about my fat cells now. Me and them puppies got together the other day. And usually, as usual, in all over the news, our friend has been doing crazy stuff. But what I want to do right now is go back to Tennessee. Hey, Carmen. Back in Tennessee, the white supremacist is on the move again in Tennessee. Y'all know I've been trying to keep track of that because Tennessee seems to be ground zero. They seem to have decided they're going to colonize Tennessee. That seems to be the point of origin. So I'm going to try and keep what's going on in Tennessee in the spotlight because we need to know how these folks is moving so we can keep our head on a swivel. Okay? So, we're going to watch Tennessee. And I'm also going to be trying to check on that one little spot out in California. Can't remember the name of it. That they were literally trying to start a city. But down in Tennessee, they seem to be trying to take over a county. And I guess it's going to be white supremacist central. So let's put this out there right now. If you're going through Tennessee or if you live in Tennessee, be careful because they're on the move. You know, they're revving up to do bad shit. Okay? Just so y'all know. So I want to play this clip from News 5 down in Tennessee. They are actively pursuing this as well, and I'm glad because we need to stay on top of this. And we'll get to your boy later on. You know, your boy, he crazy. He got all kind of stuff going on. We'll talk about that cat later on. There's never an end with him. So let's check this out.
Tonight at 6, News Channel 5 investigates the neo-Nazis next door, a large hate group that our investigation discovered is expanding its presence right here in Tennessee. Good evening to you. I'm Carrie Sharp. That group, the so-called Patriot Front, is probably best known for plastering our communities with their hate-filled posters and graffiti. Now our investigation has uncovered new videos that reveal the group is also preparing for battle. Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams is continuing his Hate Comes to Main Street investigation. Phil, you have been working on this story for more than 3 months.
That's right. And during that time, we gathered never-before-seen video that shows what the Patriot Front is really up to. As you're about to see, that includes training men to fight right here in the volunteer state.
Right now, they got an enemy. If they get rid of their enemies, they're going to have to find a new one. Maybe you.
Our investigation began last fall as anti-fascist activists protested an annual white supremacist gathering inside the lodge at Montgomery Bell State Park, about 40 miles west of Nashville. It was an investigation that would eventually lead us across the state to this large compound being built by a hate group right here in Tennessee.
Come on, get in there. Nice.
A compound where members train for battles that sometimes play out on the streets of America.
These are smart, observant, thoughtful Americans who see that our country is going in the wrong direction and has been going in the wrong direction for decades.
Which may be why Jared Taylor, the founder of the American Renaissance Conference, insisted that we not take video of any faces while we were inside the conference.
How about the neo-Nazis?
I don't even know a neo-Nazi.
That is absolutely false. Jared Taylor lied to you.
Jeff Tischhauser tracks hate for the Southern Poverty Law Center, and he knows a lot about the men we identified from outside the conference using facial recognition software. Men like Thomas Rousseau.
Nationalism is natural. Patriotism is inevitable.
Rousseau, seen here during a demonstration in Nashville last summer, heads the Patriot Front, one of the largest organized hate groups in the country. Known for their flash mob protests that suddenly spring out of the backs of rental trucks, members wear white gaiters to hide their faces. Their flag-waving marches are designed to present an image that also hides the hate behind their cause.
When you get within their private spaces online, members of Patriot Front worship Hitler, right? They deny the Holocaust. They use a tremendous amount of racial slurs between each other.
They're very clever, though. They wrap themselves in patriotism, Patriot Front.
So that's a way for Patriot Front to appeal to the larger conservative movement.
We are Americans. We are not white Americans because there are no other kind of Americans than those who are white and from Europe.
At age 26, Thomas Rousseau is polished in his racism.
Life, liberty, victory.
But leaked videos from inside Patriot Front reveal that beneath that polished veneer
Good take right there.
Seed high. Let's go.
are old-fashioned neo-Nazis.
These are hardened white supremacists who want to see a white ethno-state created somewhere in the United States.
You are not welcome here.
Outside the American Renaissance Conference, we had also spotted these two men. Our search quickly came back with matches. Robert Benjamin Whitted of Texas and Garrett Joseph Garland of Illinois. Both were among 31 Patriot Front members arrested 3 years ago, accused of plotting to create a riot at an Idaho Pride celebration. Ryan Hunter was one of the prosecutors.
They wanted to basically promote a fight. They wanted to get people to respond, make them angry, make them attack them. And, their history is that they then try to play that they're the victims.
Give an announce. Announce.
Hey, man, sheriff's office, everyone have your hands visible.
This never-before-seen police video shows what happened when Coeur d'Alene, Idaho police intercepted 2 Patriot Front U-Hauls on their way to that Pride event. In the video, we see the men from that balcony, Robert Whitted and Garrett Garland, as they're being processed by police.
It does detail our peaceful intentions.
While Thomas Rousseau insisted their intentions were peaceful, police discovered what a witness called a small army prepared for war, including being equipped with riot shields. Shields that this leaked video shows Patriot Front prepares for use in battle.
Those shields can be used offensively, and in fact, in riot training, they are. They're intended to push and to move people out of the way or to certain areas. And we actually got testimony on cross-examination that confirmed that, yes, that's how they had been trained to use those.
And when police unmasked the Patriot Front members, they found their caps secured to their heads by chin straps, and the caps were no ordinary headgear. Inside, they found hardened plastic designed to protect their heads in battle. They also discovered tactical radios for communicating over long distances, first aid kits to treat the injured. One even carried a smoke grenade.
You don't come to a boxing match with gloves on and dressed to fight if you don't intend to fight. And that was the circumstance we faced with this group. Is they were ready to fight. They were prepared to fight. They had trained to fight.
And the group's ops plan indicated the Patriot Front Army would line up on the outskirts of the park and proceed inwards until barriers to approach were met. There they planned to create what they called a confrontational dynamic.
And during the testimony that we were able to elicit from them on cross-examination, they confirmed that people really they didn't consider those to be barriers that they would stop for.
So you're saying if they encountered people at the Pride Fest, they were just going to plow through them?
That was effectively what they said at trial.
Which brings us back to Montgomery Bell State Park and another man we identified from the balcony.
So Ian Michael Elliott is a longtime member of white power groups, including Patriot Front. Within Patriot Front, he's one of their lead recruiters.
Ian Michael Elliott, we discovered, is one of the people behind this 122-acre Patriot Front compound in Tellico Plains, Tennessee, located between Chattanooga and Knoxville. When we flew over in Sky 5, it appeared to be very much still under construction.
It appears that they're using this place to network and strategize. They're inviting white supremacists from across the country into this compound to network and strategize.
This photo, obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates, shows Elliott with Rousseau at that East Tennessee compound, hosting another white supremacist group from Texas.
3, 2, 1, fight!
And this video posted online shows Elliott in a studio adorned with neo-Nazi symbolism, training men for bare-knuckled battle that often leaves these Patriot Front warriors bruised and bloodied.
Patriot Front will claim that they are nonviolent, but they're training in mixed martial arts. They're using their training in mixed martial arts to escalate confrontations and to hurt people.
Which is exactly what happened to a musician who tried to confront the group in Boston in 2022. A federal judge recently awarded the victim $2.7 million in damages, although it's not clear he'll ever collect. Police video shows that when a Patriot Front U-Haul was stopped shortly after that incident, one of the people present was Garrett Garland. He's the one on the right at the American Renaissance Conference back in the fall.
This isn't your, granddad's KKK. This isn't the old school white supremacists. These guys are smart. I'll give them that little bit of credit, is they're smart in how they approach it.
Ryan Hunter says he believes it's critical that Americans see beyond the images that Patriot Front would like to project, to see that what they represent is neither good nor American.
And it's, incumbent upon all of us that see it for what it is to combat it every chance that we get and tell what really this group is about and what their message is all about. And so that's probably my biggest takeaway from this.
Seed high, let's go.
Okay, I know that was a long video, but it was to make a point. These people are serious. These people crazy. Okay? They plain crazy. So be careful, no matter where you are, because they not only in Tennessee. And as you can see, they like to get one person, a group against one, all the time. That's the way they like to do. Be careful. That's why I like to show this stuff just to keep reminding us, that this is going on. And hey, Carmen, yes, I saw that question. I did see that France wanted the Statue of Liberty back. Tell you what, I learned a lesson about the Statue of Liberty. I did not know that it was literally given to us as a symbol of the end of racism, or not racism, but the end of slavery. And at the base of it was, and you never see it, they actually built it where you can't see it. But at the base of it is the chains as a symbol of slavery or broken bondage, And on no pictures, practically no pictures, can you see the chains. And America did that on purpose. The actual statue that was supposed to be built was supposed to have the chain in her hand. But we see how that went. So they didn't build it the way it was intended to be built. And I can understand why they would want it back, because they, if they trying to go back to slavery, ain't no need in having a Statue of Liberty, huh? Yeah, that's the story behind the Statue of Liberty. I found that out, about 6 months ago. I was reading about it, and I was like, wow, that's something I didn't know. As a matter of fact, it literally has nothing to do with welcoming people to Ellis Island or welcoming people to America. Has nothing to do with that. It was actually a symbol to commemorate the end of slavery, so see how good that went. They trying to get us back to it. And speaking of trying to get us back to it, you notice how they seem to be trying to erase everything that says anything about blacks or women. Blacks, Hispanics, or women. I noticed also at the cemetery out in Virginia. I can't think of the name of it now. Arlington Cemetery. They have all of the writings there at the cemetery. When you go into different buildings at a cemetery, there's different pictures and stuff to read. They've cleansed it of any black, Hispanic, or women heroes. Ain't that something? There's no black, Hispanic, or women heroes at Arlington anymore. As far as, the plaques and stuff you read on the walls. Hey, Ronnie. Oh, you saw that too. Yeah. Ain't that something? They are erasing us as we speak. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's going to be one hell of an eraser. They're going to need one hell of an eraser because we seem to be a intricate part of everything that's gone on. Republicans in Minnesota are trying to pass a new mental illness about Trump. Oh, that's the Trump derangement syndrome. Now, I don't know if Is that good or bad? Because I heard a little bit of something about it, but I did not catch the whole story. Is it to describe how I might be feeling? Because or is it to show that anybody that follows him is deranged? TDS. Those initials fall under another ailment too, don't they? Anyway, Trump told you that Jim Crow was not real. It was our perception of a myth. Well, you know what, Ronnie? Hey, Vanessa, how you doing? You subject to hear anything from someone who follows Trump. Jim Crow wasn't real. That's interesting. And I suppose that person never heard of any of the actual laws that were incorporated around Jim Crow. They wanted to diagnose Trump with this illness. Well, you know what? You can diagnose you can diagnose him from anywhere. He's he crazy as all get out. And he's already. How can you describe the illnesses of a person that does not even seem to sleep? He doesn't seem to sleep. If you pay close attention to the posts that he put up, they're all during the middle of the night. And the guy is posting, and he comes up with something new every day. Like today with the he's taking Joe Biden, before he left office, pardoned a group of people, and he intends to revoke those pardons. Now, from what I understand, there is no mechanism for a incoming president to revoke an outgoing president's pardons. Okay? And he said the reason he felt like he could do it was because they were signed with an auto pen. He's like a bad 5-year-old with no parents at home. Yes, absolutely. You know what? I liken him and Elon Musk to two rich babies that's been turned loose into the toy store. Like two rich babies, and their parents dropped them off at a toy store, put them in the toy store, and drove off. And we're like the daycare keepers. We gotta sit here and try and corral these maniacal kids. This is something crazy. And just the things that he comes up with, like, well, Biden didn't sign them. They used an auto pen. Well, for those of you that don't know, all presidents have stuff signed all day, every day. Every president's done it. There's a device that their secretaries and assistants use to sign their name. And that's just that. But here this guy feels like, okay, I can use this as an excuse. Yeah, Charles, that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to go after Hunter Biden and he wants to go after the January 6th committee. The people that, that turned up all that evidence against him and handed it over to Merrick Garland, who sat on it 2 years. And Joe Biden watched him sit on it for 2 years. And then tell that man, look, get up off that ass and prosecute this guy. Joe Biden was so set on making it look like there was an independence between the president and the attorney general, and it's supposed to be. But you can tell him, hey, if you got a case that need prosecuting, prosecute it. They got into this prosecuting an ex-president thing. And under normal circumstances, I would agree you shouldn't prosecute an ex-president, but ex-presidents don't typically break so many laws doing so many things. Did I see he ignored a judicial order not to fly those alleged immigrants? Oh, yeah. Well, see, that was my point. That's my point right there. Here's a guy who has decided that, you can't do nothing to me. If the plane was in the air, and this is their excuse, that the plane was over international water, his excuse is, well, you said that in court, but in the written order, it didn't mention having planes turn around. Now, if I was the judge that called them back to court today, and I'd like to know what happened during that period, I'd love to understand what the lawyers were arguing. I wish I could have been there to watch, because I can imagine the judge is probably mad. You come in there and say, yeah, I know you said it, but when you issued the written order, it didn't say it in the written order. I can only imagine the judge not being very happy about that. So, and then he's also going against a ruling that he's supposed to hire most, if not all, of those that were fired that was on probation. He was supposed to hire those people back, and he hasn't done it. He was ordered by a judge to hire them back. He was also ordered to let the funding go for all of the projects, that had been completed. All of those contractors that did the work and are owed the money. He's supposed to let that money go, and he hasn't done it. They're still waiting on their money. So, as I know it, there's 3 judges that he's in defiance of right now. Openly in defiance. So, what are they going to do? I'm dying to find out, because typically what a federal judge would do is send out U.S. Marshals. But the U.S. Marshals work under the Department of Justice. And Pam Bondi is the Attorney General who runs the Department of Justice, who is his pick. And I tell you what, I'm no fan of Pam Bondi. I know her history. But I really do wish Joe Biden would have had a Pam Bondi. Merrick Garland, Merrick Garland. I would not have chose Merrick Garland. He may have been a decent Supreme Court justice. He was Obama's pick for Supreme Court justice back when Mitch McConnell ran rings around them fools and wouldn't even let this guy get meetings on Capitol Hill. You know, when you're a nominee, you get to go around and meet with people. Everybody actually liked Merrick Garland. Mitch McConnell wouldn't even let him meet with him. That's how bad Mitch McConnell was. Oh my gosh. I used to think, what are you looking at when Mitch McConnell is doing all the stuff he's done, and every time the Democrats are in power, they go back to this, we gotta reach across the aisle, we gotta negotiate, and they spend all their time negotiating with terrorists. Who knew? Anyway, not to get off on that. But, you know, this guy is defying federal judges, and we have to see what's going to happen. You know, I'm also interested in what I talked about the other day. These flights that are being used to ferry these immigrants are military flights. Is that against the law? Somebody help me. I'm dying to know. You know, he's using a lot of military flights. Can you imagine how much it costs? Let me see. As I recall, a military flight to fly one of those planes costs about, I believe they burn enough fuel that it's about 60 grand a person. That's how much fuel those things burn. And how much resources they take up to operate. So it's not your typical hop on the commercial jetliner and, you know, and fly. So that's costing us a ton of money. As a matter of fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a number, and I think it's about 8 billion. I think he's 8 billion ahead of, I think, what Joe Biden was at this time in his presidency. So I think this guy's been spent $8 billion, you know, more than he saved. So how's that for waste, fraud, and abuse? Not to mention, add all the money it costs for him to go golfing every day, you know, because that's pretty much all he's doing. So, in defying the 3 judges, do y'all think anything's going to happen to him? Anybody? You know, I'm curious. I don't know if anybody would even, you know, I haven't heard any judges threatening him. Nothing. Y'all tell me. Also, not only is this guy in defiance of that, he is literally destroying some of the economies in some of the states. We say, Ronnie, lock him up. You know, I would love to see that. say nothing will happen to the Flim Flam man. Nothing will happen to the Flim Flam man. You know what? I gotta agree with that. I would like to know there has to be a, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so from what I understand, the founding fathers just didn't leave in very much provision for arresting a president. And for some reason, this particular country, feels like presidents, ex-presidents, and billionaires seem to have some force field around them that you can't penetrate. And you have to literally be caught naked in the bathroom with the little boy for a billionaire to be convicted, or a president to be arrested and jailed. They just simply decided in this country, we just don't do it. Now, I've heard leaders in all sorts of other countries going to jail. Here, not so much. And who thought we would have a one-man crime ring as a president? Who thought that? Somebody raise your hand if you thought, hey, after Barack Obama, we're going to have a one-man crime wave for president. And imagine, now we know the crimes that we've seen him do. The crimes we've seen him do. Imagine the stuff we don't know about that he's done. Imagine the stuff we don't know about. Crazy. So like I said, he's not only, wreaking havoc in the judicial system, he's destroying the economies in some states. Hey, check out what's going on in Nebraska.
And we want to first alert you to bad news. Nebraska lawmakers heard first thing this morning on the floor of the legislature.
The big hole in the budget shortfall just got bigger. Brian Mastery joins us to explain what happened.
Aaron, John, the Fed shared the news with Nebraska lawmakers in January, but for some reason, the paperwork was overlooked at the Capitol and only discovered yesterday by a staffer in the fiscal office. Now, last year, lawmakers knew the federal government was going to pay a lower percentage for Medicaid, but that percentage is dropping even more, meaning Nebraska lawmakers now need to carve another $90 million out of the budget to cover Medicaid. Look at it this way. On Monday, the state's budget had a hole of $198 million. Today, that hole is now a crater. The new calculation, minus $289 million.
So this means it's going to be a tougher year than we thought on balancing the budget. So the shortfall is $289 million, and I'm asking for your help.
Back in November, lawmakers were staring at a $490 million budget shortfall, but have been chipping away with preliminary cuts and a better forecast of money coming in. A good chunk of that progress, though, has been wiped out with this Medicaid expense. Now, unlike the federal government, Nebraska is required to balance its budget. I'm Brian Mastery, First Alert 6.
Now imagine you got to come up with an extra $100 million for your budget. Imagine your budget got an extra $100 million shy. Now that's what these cuts that these dudes are doing to the states. Now that's Nebraska. And understand, don't bother me that, hey, that's Trump country. So deal with it. Find that money. That just means some Trump supporter not going to eat. Okay? So anyway, that's crazy though. That is crazy. Now, understand something also. We haven't seen any of the numbers that are going to be coming around the bend from the tariffs. We haven't seen any of those numbers yet. We haven't seen the job numbers for March. Can't wait to see that. We haven't seen first quarter GDP yet. We haven't seen that. So stand by. Stand by. We're going to get a good look at it one of these days. And when we do, I'm going to have it right here. So we got France want to take the Statue of Liberty back. The crazy stuff that we have heard since January. Do any of y'all ever stop and think about it and say, really? And we still are not 60 days into it. We're still not 60 days in. Wow. It's crazy. Anyway, I think tonight I'm going to make this a short segment because, I'm dying to find out if something's going on right now while me and you sitting here chilling. It's probably something going on right now. Like you say, James, more to come. I tell you what I need, though. I need that weather to go ahead and change so I could at least go sit on the bank. We haven't made 90-day probation. You know what? I don't know if we can make 90-day probation. Some of us may not make it. Because I tell you what, I got Trump derangement syndrome. I feel like I got that shit. Because this is crazy. Everything that's going, it's like every day there's a new craziness. Every day is a new craziness. So coming up, tariffs are going to be attached to American goods from practically every supplier, or from every supplier, on every supplier that supplies outside of the U.S. They're going to put tariffs on, and the U.S. companies that are suppliers are going to be cut out of a lot of markets, because the suppliers can't make it here as cheap as it's made elsewhere. And once it goes on the market outside of the U.S., if you throw a tariff on that, the companies outside of the U.S. will go elsewhere for their products. That's crazy as hell. Can't happen soon enough, though. Can't happen soon enough. Oh, one other thing while it's on my mind just popped into my head. I want to change directions. on The View tomorrow, any of you that may watch The View, Chuck Schumer is supposed to be on. And they're going to ask him why he voted the way he voted in the Senate and why he, talked the other 9 into voting to not shut down the government. So that ought to be a good conversation. If you watch The View, make sure you check it out tomorrow because, I'm going to be watching it. I have not watched it regularly lately. I've been trying to wean myself off of most stuff. Although, don't laugh at me, y'all, but I've gotten hooked on a soap opera called Beyond the Gates. Now, don't talk about me. Don't dog me out. I've always watched soap operas, okay? Understand something. For you guys out there that's going to be looking at me saying, man, you watch soap operas? Damn right I watch soap operas. You know why I watch soap operas, fellas? A, my grandma used to watch soap operas, okay? And I used to chill out with my grandma when I was little, when she lived with us from time to time, okay? Now, but as I got older, I would be in school, and I'd be sitting there, and I'd hear girls talking about the soap operas. Hey, let me go over and get in the conversation. Hey, did you see such and such do such and such? You know about that? Yeah, I know about that. Icebreaker. No quicker way to meet a woman than to ask her, did she see something on one of the soap operas? So, from that point on, I made sure I was up on all the latest soap operas, okay? And, boy, I tell you what, talk about successful. So, don't judge me, but there's a new one out called Beyond the Gates. All black, well, not all black, but it's about a well-to-do black family out in Boston, I believe it is, the Boston area. Now, I gotta say this. I watched it. Let me tell you something about this soap opera. The casting. I've never seen so many I've never seen so many beautiful black people in one spot. Beyond the Gates have a lot of Country Wayne actors in it. Now, I don't know what Country Wayne means. But I can say I ain't never seen so many beautiful black people in one spot in my life. Oh, he has skits on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Country Wayne. That's somebody for me to look up. And if those actors are part of his thing, cool. But it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty good. So I will be watching that. That comes on 1 o'clock Central on CBS. Okay. For those of you who give a damn, 1 o'clock Central on CBS, Beyond the Gates, a black soap opera. Okay. It is pretty good. And if you want to see some beautiful black people, and for those who want to know, the two main characters are Tamara Toomey and Clifton Davis. I believe it's Clifton Davis, right? They're the two main characters. So if you know those two names, you know it's pretty good. Anyway, so, you know, I'm going to end this right about here. One more thing I'm going to leave y'all with, and that is I came across this guy. He was describing how it felt, and I like to support veterans, and I like to highlight their stories. Okay? Whenever I see a veteran, I like to highlight the stories. Sorry, man, can't get in this soap opera. Hey, man, it ain't for everybody. I get it. It ain't for everybody. You know, but again, I've been watching them forever, and man, they have gotten me into some doors I probably wouldn't have gotten into otherwise. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave y'all with this veteran of World War II and his words of wisdom. Okay, check him out.
And you know what Patton said about the colored troop? He said the colored soldier couldn't think fast enough to fight in tanks. That hurt because we looked up to Patton. He was our hero. That's why it felt so damn good when I fucked his daughter while I was in tank school. I put it to that woman with a force she ain't never seen before.
So let's celebrate our veterans, okay? So anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. You all have a good evening. I'm going to go up here and see what Fearless Leader and Boris and Natasha has been up to since we've been on YouTube. So, hey, we'll talk later. All right, Wednesday, 7 p.m. See you there. Take it easy.